Welcome to In the Wild. In the early morning of July 30th, 1998, a tall, thoughtful man named Mike Turner stepped into the silent grandeur of the Fitzpatrick Wilderness in Wyoming's Wind River Range. Mike was 48 years old, 6 feet 6 inches tall, and a Presbyterian minister from Caldwell, Idaho. He had taken a 3-month sabbatical from his church and planned a 9-day solo hiking trip across rugged backcountry, nearly 60 miles of trail and off trail terrain. With him was his loyal black Labrador mixed dog, Andy. Mike's intention was simple: to immerse himself in nature, reflect on his life and faith, and meet his family at a predetermined location at the end of his journey. The Fitzpatrick Wilderness is a vast swath of protected land in the Shoshone National Forest, defined by towering granite peaks, alpine lakes, and endless miles of remote landscape. There are no roads, no buildings, and no mechanical means of travel allowed. Wilderness like this offers solitude and beauty, but also a landscape that can overwhelm even experienced hikers. Mike had planned his hike carefully, studying maps and plotting his route. He shared his intended itinerary with his wife, Diane, telling her where he expected to be on each day and when they would reconnect. He expected to follow established trails for most of the day and to cross the Continental Divide in places where other hikers had gone before. Andy, his faithful companion, had been with him on many camps and shorter hikes, and Mike trusted his dog's instincts. For the first few days, Mike's journey went smoothly. The early mornings were cool and quiet. He hiked by flowing streams and alpine lakes, taking in the solitude of the Wind River Range. He wrote in his journal about the beauty he saw and the peace he felt. But around the 4th day of his trek, something happened that changed the course of his hike forever. It was August 2nd, and Andy's paws were being cut and irritated by shifting ice and sharp rocks. Out of concern for his dog's welfare, Mike made a decision that seemed reasonable at the time. He left his planned route to find easier terrain where Andy could walk without injuring his paws. That choice took them away from the path his family and rescuers would later search. That afternoon, Andy suddenly bolted off into a field of huge boulders near a small alpine tarn. Mike called after him and followed, hoping to bring the dog back. In that boulder field, Mike stepped onto a rock that shifted beneath him. Before he could react, a large rock slid, pinning his legs firmly between two massive stones. He was trapped. His legs were immobilized by the weight and position of the rocks, and he could not free himself. His pack was nearby, and Andy stood close, but no person was within sight. Mike fought to free himself. He used everything he had brought with him to try to shift the rocks. He tried pushing and pulling on them with his hands. He used his camera tripod and other gear from his pack, trying to gain any leverage. For hours he struggled, but the boulders did not budge. Night fell with cold temperatures, and Mike realized that he had become trapped in a place so remote that it was unlikely anyone would stumble upon him quickly. Mike sheltered himself as best as he could. He wrapped extra clothing and his tent material around his body for warmth. He packed snow into his stove to melt for water. He ate sparsely from his remaining supplies. All the while, he wrote in his trail journal, documenting what was happening to him. In those pages, he recorded his physical struggle and his attempts to stay alive. Day after day, Mike remained pinned. He could see a lake of fresh water only about 25 feet away, so close, yet impossible to reach with his legs immobilized. Each attempt to throw a water bottle toward it failed. His situation became increasingly dire. His journal shows the irony of being so close to water, yet unable to drink from it. Back at home, Mike's family grew worried when he did not arrive at the meeting point at the end of his planned hike. Diane waited for him. She did not immediately contact authorities, believing he might be delayed by weather or unforeseen circumstances. When several days passed with no word, and especially after the agreed 24-hour window, she and family members alerted search and rescue teams. The first organized search covered the planned route that Mike had shared before he left. Teams of volunteers, Forest Service personnel, and search dogs combed known trails and ridges. Helicopters and fixed wing aircraft flew over parts of the range. But because Mike had gone off his planned route to help his dog, the searchers were looking in the wrong areas and did not find him. Weeks passed. Then, on August 28th, a group of hikers encountered a weary, thin black Labrador nearly 17 miles east of an access trailhead. It was Andy. The dog was weak but alive. The hikers fed him and alerted authorities. News that Andy had survived and led searchers far from the original search area refocused efforts. Searchers retraced the dog's path toward the remote terrain where he had last been seen. On August 31st, nearly a month after Mike had begun his hike, a hiker walking through the Browns Cliff area discovered Mike's body nestled among the boulders. His legs were still trapped where the accident had occurred. Personal effects and his journal were found nearby. Authorities confirmed his identity based on those items. Medical and coroner reports concluded that Mike Turner likely died around August 11th from a combination of dehydration and hypothermia and from being immobilized. He likely survived for about 9 days after he was trapped. His dog Andy's finding helped lead searchers to the correct area, though it came too late to save Mike. The journal that Mike kept was a poignant record of his final days. It showed not just survival efforts, but also reflections on family, his deep faith, and his grappling with fear and hope. Portions of that journal were later shared publicly, revealing an honest and deeply human experience of a man facing unimaginable isolation and danger.